Alrighty, folks. Thanks for watching. This one is going to be, I'm like kind of sort of on the heels of the little GM thing for Traveler. Made me realize I need to do a character creation video. Sorry, excuse me, I'm having my breakfast real quick. So, this is character creation for Mongooses Traveler. I don't know what edition it is, anything like that. I've lost track. I played it in the 80s. My best friend in high school had the little books with the colored bar at the bottom. And, but I never really played it, I don't think. At least I don't remember, so if we did, we didn't play much. I've had a resurgence in it. I bought one of those bundle packs, you know, where you can pay what you want and you get X amount of books, pay a little bit more, get even more. Started reading them and I really liked it. And I remember how fun character creation is. Character creation in Traveler is Lifepath based with skill checks and various things. So if you are not a fan of random, you're not going to like it. If you like to build your character, you're not going to like the core rules. Now, the compendium does add alternate character creation rules, like a point-based system. So if you want complete control of your Traveler character and your GM allows it, then there you go. There's package systems. So instead of making random skill checks, you just pick a package and say, I want to be an explorer, who used to be a colonist, who used to be a cop. And you get those packages. But I like random. So I'm going to show you the core rules with a few rules added in for the compendium. All right, so first we're going to, hold on, I need a character creator assistant thing here open real quick. Also my master skill list. We'll put this right here for now. And then careers I will need in a little bit as well. So let's move it over here. Sorry, filling up my Foundry screen. Also, that's another main reason I'm doing this is for, it's Foundry based. So there's a template created in here by the gentleman that gave us the background module. So we have the skill rolls and skill checks, and it does all that stuff automatically. So let's make a duplicate real quick. Sorry. All right. So we're going to give him a name real quick. I just use a random space name generator thingy. And then it creates 10 spacefaring type names, and I'll just roll and see who we get. Number 7, Raleigh Maddox. Raleigh Maddox is now going to be born. Okay, so the basic on here is for Traveler, there are 6 basic stats: strength, dexterity, endurance, intellect, education, and social. They're pretty much what they sound like. Strength, of course, you know, strength is strength, busting of doors and lifting and carrying things. Dexterity is also including agility, so hand-eye coordination as well as jumping through windows and stuff. Endurance is just what it sounds like. The how well you could endure different things, hardship of weather, how much damage you can take, stuff like that. INT is intellect. I'm going to call it intelligence, I'm sure, at some point because of all the games I've played. But intellect is your cognitive reasoning and deductive intelligence. Education is your ability to book learn, basically, and retain knowledge and things like that. And to pull up that knowledge from the past as well. SOC is social. That's your social standing as well as your charisma and your ability to, you know, interact with other people. There's also Psi, which you don't really get that unless you make an event roll that lets it, or your game master allows that kind of stuff. Now, for my upcoming game, I don't have any intention of allowing that unless it's rolled. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, oops. Hold on. I moved. I need the compendium back. Character assistant. There it is. So, in the basic core, you are going to roll 2d6 6 times to create 6 characteristics, and then you're going to decide where they go. Whether you want to be strong, agile, have better endurance, intellect, education, etc. The compendium adds an alternate. You can roll 4 base 2d6 or roll a boon. Boon is rolling 3d6 and taking the 2 highest. Bane is the opposite. We're not going to do that in character creation, but during skill use in the game, Bane is roll 3 dice and take the 2 lowest. So you would basically roll 2 3d6 combos and take the 2 highest, and then 4 regular 2d6, and then place them wherever. I like random, so I'm going to choose for Rally Maddox to be. Actually, I don't really care. So I tell you what, I like to roll for each individual stat, and that's the Cosmos has given me. So then my choices are based on that. So I'm going to roll 2d6, and those are going to be the 2 stats that. All right. Okay. So real quick in Foundry, this particular module that the gentleman has made for the rules, you click on the 8, and it'll give you the 2 dice rolls if you needed it. So I rolled a 6 and a 2. So that's going to be dexterity and social. So he's going to be dexterous with a higher social than normal. So what we're going to do is we'll roll the strength. Holy shnikes. Okay, even without the boon, he was born strong. Now we did 2 is one of the dexter still, so we're going to do the boons. We're going to roll 3 dice and take the 2 highest. At 8, not bad, but not as good as that 12. Holy shnikes. Then we're back to endurance. Endurance is 2. Holy shnikes. What is going on with this character? This character is going to be very interesting. Intellect was also basic. 9. All right. And then education was also basic. Oh, there it is. He's not a book learner. He's rich, spoon-fed. He doesn't know much on that one. And then social is the other boon, so we're going to roll 3 and take the 2 highest. So his social standing is a 10, so that's pretty decent size stat. All right, so real quick, all of the stats, your statistics that you roll are going to have a DM, which is a dice modifier applied to any skills or stat check involving that. And it's basically 6 to 8 is no modifier. You go down or up, you're going to get modifiers. So 9 to 11 is a +1, 12 to 14 is a +2, and a 15 or higher is a +3. I don't think you can go higher than 15 in character creation, or even 215. I forget. But the other way is the opposite direction is also negative modifiers. 3 to 5 is a -1, 1 or 2 is a -2, and then if you have a 0, it's a -3, which you really can't have a 0 for an extended period of time. Zeros are bad. That means you're getting wounded or about to be unconscious, because if any 2 stats are at a 0, you go unconscious. Any 3 stats at 0, you die. So basically those 2 12s gave him a +2 in strength and endurance checks. And then his low education is a -2. Social and intellect is a +1, and his dexterity gives him no modifier. Now, over here, you're going to see the skills. Everybody has Jack of all trades. Jack of all trades is just your ability to do unskilled things. And everybody has a Jack of all trades 0, which means you have a -3 to any unskilled check. So if I make any check right now, this character has just been created. If he was to pick up a gun, try to run for a long distance, try to fly a ship, drive a car, do sciencey stuff, he would have a -3 to the die roll. And that would be basically 2d6. And he would roll 2d6. And subtract 3. So he rolled a 10. It's a 7. It's an effective of -1. Your target number on average is going to be an 8. So you need an 8 or higher to be successful. And the higher you roll over 8 or the lower you roll under 8 determines the effect. In this case, he rolled a 7, which is 1 out. So the effect is a -1. There's a chart for it, but basically, in short, -1 or a +1 is a marginal success or failure. And actually, I think you can fail by a -1 and still... Or you can roll an effect of a -1 and still be successful, but something bad happens. Like maybe you Maybe you picked the lock on the door, but you broke the door lock, so somebody's going to know you picked it. Maybe you shot the guy with the gun, but the bullet went through and damaged the door behind him, so now you can't pick that door. You have to brute force through the door. Something like that. And then -2s to, I think, 4, maybe it's 5, is just bad. Bad thing, you failed or you succeeded. And then +6 or -6, or maybe it's 5. Again, I'm not looking at the rules. You have failed utterly and completely. You destroyed the engine you were trying to fix. You broke your pick in the door, and now you can't pick the door. You jammed your gun. You shot an innocent bystander, something like that. And then +5 or 6 or whatever, whichever one it is an outstanding type of success. You are amazing. And you succeeded and did even better. You were quicker. You killed him outright. Something like that. GM's discretion kind of thing. But the fun part about Jack of all trades is if you have the ability to gain Jack of all trades, you really want to do it, because as soon as you get a level 1, you notice that went to a -2. Level 2, it's a -1, and a level 3, if by some grace of the cosmic gods, you get 3 skill levels in Jack of all trades. Means every unskilled thing is no modifier. Your target number is an 8. So, barring any other modifiers, you can pick up a gun and shoot it. You can grab a microscope and look at the alien DNA and figure it out. Okay, so that's fun. All right. So now that we have his stats, we do have background skills. So basically, background skills is your education dice roll modifier +3. I have a -2 education. I wasn't a smart kid. I didn't learn much. So I actually only get 1 skill off of this check. Oh, the other thing to note, you'll see these under the skill as well as the master list. There are going to be skills like admin and advocate, which are just straight up skills. It's just the administrative or advocate skills. Animals, however, has 3 sub-trainings, and some have more. Electronics has 4. Sciences can tend to have even more than that. What that means is that when you gain the first level 0, which is familiarity in that skill, you know the very basics of the skill. You're not untrained, but you're not well trained. You get a 0 in all of those skills. So if you go into animals, you would get animal handling 0, veterinary 0, training 0, all animal 0s. Same as for all of these skills. Then the compendium does something I really like, and I'm going to apply it as well. And that is, I guess, subclasses. I don't know. I'd have to read the thing again. But we'll look at professions. Oh, no, sciences. That's my favorite. So sciences, before in the core book, if you took a science, you got all of them at a 0. You were just, if you did science work, you got a 0 in everything, and then you could advance 1 higher or whatever. They broke it down now, so professions, and sciences, as well as maybe 1 or 2 other skills, have a breakdown. So now when you get science, you choose either life, physical, robotics, social, or space sciences. And then you get a 0 in all those but not the other ones. Okay? So you can't, if you're an astronomer, you can't have an unskilled check in chemistry. But if you're a chemist, you do get a 0 in jump space physics, hold on, I gotta fix that real quick. I saw spelling error. It will bother me. So jump space physicas should be physics. There you go. Jump space physics. Bam. All right, fixed. Jump space physics. Okay. Hope that makes sense. If it's not, feel free to inquire, ask, send me a message, whatever, and I'll explain how that works a little bit better. Okay, so for background skills, again, it's his education die roll modifier, +3. I have a -2. I only get 1. I don't know what this guy's going to learn. You know what? He's got his social's a little bit high, and he's really strong and really has a high endurance, so I was thinking carouse, but I may do athletics because he's just a jock. Now I'm going to make him a rich boy. He gets carouse. So I drag and drop that over here because I created these charts and I did them. You saw it just a minute ago when I did it. It's got all these Foundry virtual tabletop coding that allows this to click on this to make a roll, drag this over to add the skill. Excuse me. Your itches. So now he has cross. That's the only thing he learned by the time he was 18, because he's a rich, snobby kid. Raleigh Maddox is the son of a baron or duke or some weird, title such as that. All right, so at this point, he's 18 years old and ready to take on the universe, it says. That's actually from the rulebook. So before he picks a career, he could choose to do some pre-career education. In the core book, there are only two options for pre-career education: university or in a military academy. This boy is not going in the military. He's a snot-nosed kid. He's strong, and he's got a lot of endurance. He'd do well in the military, but he's not going in there. But if you chose to do that, you would have to pick Army, Marines, or Navy, and that's the entry requirement is an Endurance 7 check, an Endurance 8 check, or an Intellect 8 check. College. College is an Education 6 check. I have a 2. He has a -2 to get into college of his choice. Yeah, so I could do that. I could try. However, I think I may try anyway, just because you get a -1 if you're doing college in the second term or -2 in the third term. So that basically means if you try to go into college, university at 18, it's a Education 6 higher. If you try to do it when you're 22, you have a -1. If you try to do it when you're 26, you have a -2. But he gets a +1 if his social is 9 or higher. He has a 10. All right, so I do a shorthand, and other game masters might do something different, but I do a shorthand, which basically is my little, so I can know character notes. Okay, so he's going to try to go to the university. I'm going to do an entry check. The entry check, as I said, is an Education 6, so I need to roll education dice with a 6 or higher to get into college. I'm going to hit the education. That's going to automatically apply that -2 because I hit education. But I have to manually put that his social is a 9 or higher, so I'm going to put the 1 in here. If it's a negative, you have to put a -1. I think you can put a +1, but I don't know for sure, but it's okay. The difficulty is typically is an average check, so you need an 8 or higher on the 2 dice. These are the other difficulties. If you wanted to make it a more difficult check, you can make it difficult or very difficult. Then the target number is 10, 12, and so on. Or you could say, hey, it's a routine check. It's a 6 or higher. And easy is a 4 and as simple as a 2 or higher. Why you would do simple? I mean, as a game master, if something is so simple, I probably would just do the hand wave. Oh, you're successful. Unless there's a rule that like Snake Eyes is an automatic failure no matter what. I don't know. I have to actually read the rules to learn that. And then the type of check is typically going to be normal, but there's that boon or bane again. If you click boon, it's going to roll 3 dice and keep the highest 2. If you click bane, it's going to roll 3 dice and keep the lowest 2. And then whether or not the roll is public, private, blind, or a self-roll only, that's typical on any Foundry or even a virtual tabletop has an option to do something like that. All right, so he's going to try to get into college. Here we go. All right, so he rolled 4. -1 is a 3. He did not make the 6 entry requirement, so I just put a note on there. Failed. All right, so normally when you fail a career qualification, you have to choose to either enter the draft or become a drifter. You can only enter the draft once. The draft is D6, and it determines whether you go into the Army, Navy, Marines, merchants, scouts, and law enforcement. You basically randomly roll. You can only be drafted once, so if you fail a second qualification into a second career, you've already been drafted once, then you have to become a drifter. Basically, space homeless. In this case, though, it is pre-career education, so he just picks a career at this point. I did forget to mention, I'm sorry, some of you may have seen it. These pre-career options, colonial upbringing, if you're on a tech level 8 or lower homeworld, which is considered a colony because it's not very technologically advanced, you have certain skills that you can get, and you would start a little bit older into careers. You could try to go into the Merchant Academy, which is an Intellect 8, 9 or higher role, +1 of his social deal. Oh, he could have tried that. His Intellect's a +1. You could go into business or shipboard. Dang, I would have done that one. That's not bad for him. And then School of Hard Knocks. So if your social is a 6 or lower, you could just You have your pre-career is just, you know, living off the streets and learning the hard way. Then there's spacer communities, which are basically belters, or other type of upbringing. I forgot about that, but that's okay. All right, so he failed. You only choose one of these during pre-career stuff. You have to choose. You can only choose one to try. You can't do. Oh, I failed university. Let me try to get into the military. Oh, I failed that. Let me try to get into merchant. No, pick one. You're done. You can try to do one of the. I like university and military academy again, because like you notice in the military academy it's a -2 for term 2 and -4 for term 3. So it's really hard to get in as you get older. But since he failed, he's got to pick a career. So. Let's see, let's pull this over here. So the careers that he could choose from, but anybody can choose from, is an agent, which has law enforcement, intelligence, and corporate. The requirement to get into that is an intellect 6, so he has a 9, so he gets a +1 to go into one of those. He could join the army, which is an endurance 5. He could become a regular citizen, which includes corporate. You know, you become a manager or something in a corporation. You could be a worker, just a blue-collar worker. This guy ain't gonna do that. He's a rich kid. Or become a colonist, building a life on a recently settled world. Nah, not gonna do that. There's the drifter career that you have to go into, or you can choose to go into. You can either become a barbarian living in a primitive world without technology, a wanderer, which is basically a space bum, or a scavenger, which is a belter or something like that, just eking out a living on a salvage crew or in an asteroid belt. Become an entertainer, like an artist, a journalist, or a performer. Professional athlete or other public performer. Ooh. He might become an athlete. Could be try to become a Marine, endurance 6. Go into merchant services, intelligence 4. Ooh. Could try to join the Navy. Become he is a noble. Social 10+. Wow, I have college. There it is. But there's also rogue, which includes thieves, enforcers, and pirates. Scholars, which are field researchers, scientists, or physicians. Scout services, which is courier, surveyor, or explorer. A prisoner, which you can't voluntarily go into, obviously. But you can end up in it because of an event. I totally forgot about noble. Perfect. So he can't get into college, so he's just going to be a noble kid. Noble's kid. So it does. So qualification has social 10+, which means you would have to roll your social stat and roll a 10 or higher to gain entry into a noble career, which is either as an administrator, which you serve in planetary government or ruling. Diplomat, you're a diplomat or another state official, or you're a dilettante. You are known for having absolutely no useful function in society. That sounds amazing for this guy. But if you notice, the die roll modifier for getting in is a -1 for every previous career, but automatic qualification if your social is 10 or higher. Well, look at that. Couldn't get into college? So he's going to automatically become a dilettante. He doesn't want to work for a living. All right. So, nice. All right, so once you enter a career, you're going to pick one of the 3 specialties in the career. The draft is one of the rare times it might say you go into scouts, but as a certain career. Your very first career ever, you will get all of the service skills at 0 unless it specifies up here, like if it said, which one? One of them says it. 1 or 2 of them say it, like you get the specific citizen. Use the assignment skill table for basic training and not your service skills. So if you became a colonist, corporate, or a worker, you would use the worker table. So if this said use your assignment skill table for basic training, then he would get all the dilettante. If you were a diplomat, you would get all of those. But in this case, it's not, so it's based as like a regular career. He's going to get a 0 in all of these. That's awesome. I'm going to put basic training up here because that's what I like to do. Boom. All right, so admin. Master skill list. Admin. Learns how to push papers. Advocate. That's legal stuff, of course. Uh, electronics, really? Okay. Okay, so I put all the skills that have subspecialties, I put like a basic. So there's flyer, engineering, and electronics. So because when you get electronics, you actually get a 0 in all of these. So instead, I let it, you can just post that in there. And then whenever you get a point in electronics that you can specialize in, you then go into it. And you know what? I do need to mark these, because how do I know that electronics has subspecialties and corrals, advocate, and admin don't? Without having to... Yeah, I'm going to change those so they'll have an indicator in it that says that you don't just keep electronics. But I'm going to delete that real quick just to show you how... because technically, as soon as I get electronics at 0, I get all of them at 0. So I have electronics, comms, computers, remote ops, and sensors at 0 because I got it basic. And remember, level 0 is just basic, very familiar training in that particular skill set. Diplomat and investigate. I have diplomat and investigate. Bam. All right. So that is the package that I get. Normally, in a career, you would get, the first thing you do is a skill. You get a skill. You would pick either personal development chart, a service skill, a specialty skill like dilettante, or if my guy's got a 2, I couldn't. But if I had an 8 or higher education, I could pick to roll on one of these. But you roll, get a skill, and then your next roll is a survival roll. Survival roll is going to be based on your career and your assignment. So in this case, I'm a dilettante. I just need to make a social 5 or higher skill to survive. I think survival is a horrible word. It should be more like a success roll, where you're successful in this particular thing. So I'm going to make that social roll. I rolled a 5, which is, and luckily because I have a +1. Had I not, that would have been a 4. I would have been like the nobility, even being a dilettante. They would have kicked me out of being a dilettante. But I got a +1 for my social level, so I actually makes it a 5, so he passes. Then we go on to an event. Every career has an event. Marines, merchants, navies, they have their own event chart. Nobles have their own, so we roll 2d6 on that. If you roll a 7 on any of the event charts, it's automatically a life event. And there's a generic life event chart that is rolled on. In this case, I rolled a 6. So on the event chart for Noble, 6 is, I become deeply involved in politics on my world or of residence, becoming a player in the political intrigues of government. It does not seem like my character. But I'm just going to do, he becomes deeply... how about I spell deeply right? Involved in politics. All right. ... Boom. All right. And then the result of that is that I get to gain 1 level in either advocate, admin, diplomacy, or persuade, but I gain a rival. So I'm going to gain a rival. And which one do I want? Advocate, admin, diplomacy, or persuade? I think he's going to become persuasive. Now, this entry specifically says gain 1 level. Okay, so what that means, whenever you see that in character creation, gain a level means that if you don't have it, you go to level 1. If you already have it, it goes 1 higher. 4 is the max that you can go during character creation. If in character creation you see a 0, if one of the skills is listed as a 0, then you gain it at a 0. If it has a number, very rarely, but it could say like persuade 2, that means you get persuade at level 2. If there's no number listed, then you either gain it at a 1 or you gain an additional +1 for it. Basically, if you just see a skill listed, it's the same as the wording of gain 1 level in. So what that means is that if an entry says deception 0, but you already have deception 0 or deception 1, then you don't get any benefit from that. All right, so I'm going to get persuade. Okay, persuasive. He became a little more persuasive once he entered the political arena. But that's gain 1 level. So he gains a level. That's considered a level. Actually, now I'm double thinking that. I don't know that gain a level means what I think it means. Hold on. Skills can be listed with or without an associated level. If no specific level is listed, then you gain that skill at level 1. If you do not have it already, or increase it by +1 if you have it listed. If a level is listed, then you gain the skill at that level, so long as it is higher than your current level in that skill. There it is. Skill cannot be increased beyond level 4. Okay. Yeah. All right, well, we're going to apply the basic rule on that. So I gain Persuade 1. And again, a rival. Rivals are basically one step lower than enemies. So you have rivals, which are people that they don't like you. They might try to do things to sabotage your career. And then you have an enemy who actually actively goes out of their way to do bad things to you. And then it's the same the other way. Contacts are people you know that can help you if you ask or might come to you for assistance. And an ally is one that you pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm stranded on this planet. Can you come in? And they're going to come pick your drunk ass up. All right, so I got Persuade because of that. And then there is, the next thing after that is an advancement roll, because you can get advance in a career. I'm guessing this is just moving up the social ladder, but it's an Intellect 7 test. It automatically is going to count the +1 for that. I'm going to make the roll, and today I rolled a 12. So he moves up the social ladder. So the first thing you do whenever you move up is you're going to check a rank chart. For Dilettante, you start off at rank 0, which is a wastrel. But now I go to rank 1, which doesn't have a title, but also doesn't come with a skill. If you look on this little chart down here, rank 2 in Dilettante is Ingrate, and when you gain that, you get Carouse 1 if you don't already have it. Excuse me. So, yeah. And then so if you looked up here, if you were a diplomat, you would be an intern. Then at rank 1, you'd be a 3rd secretary, and you would gain admin 1. Also, when you advance, after you've gained the skill over here, you actually make a roll. Again, you pick one of these things to decide to do. So I could choose a personal development roll and try to raise one of my physical stats or get Gambler, Gun Combat, Melee. I could pick a service skill, which is one of these. I cannot pick one of the advanced education. I'm not smart enough. And I can't pick administrator or diplomat, but I can go dilettante. And that's what I'm going to do with this particular character, because there is Jack of all trades right there. I love Jack of all trades. I rolled a 2, so he gains deception. So as he became a higher in rank, I don't have deception, so I need to get it. And I get it at a 1 because it's listed on the chart by itself without a number. So I gain deception 1. Excuse me, my eyes starting to hurt. All right, and then that's it. You've done your advancement. So now you age. You age 4 years. So he becomes 22 years old. Doesn't have to do aging effect till after your 3rd term or 34 years old. 2nd term. Now, I could, if I wanted to, but who really wants to? I could start the game at this point with my meager skills and being 22 years old with no other bonuses. So I'm going to stay I'm just going to be a noble brat for a while. So I stay noble. Sorry. I'm going to stay a dilettante. And so that means I get a skill. So as a dilettante, I'm going to pick a skill again. And again, I'm going to roll on the dilettante table because I really want Jack of all trades. If he's going to be worthless, he needs to be worthless with some extra skills. Dang it, flyer. That's all right, though. Flyer is basically airborne vehicles. If you look over here, it's airships, balloons, dirigibles, grav, hover, ornithopter, which I had to look this one up Ornithopter are, they have the flappy wings. So it's like some kind of ship that flaps its wings to fly. It's very steampunkish. I love it. And then rotor and regular winged aircraft. So that's rotors, helicopters, winged is, a plane. So I'm going to drag all of these over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, got a 0 in all of them. Oh, actually, shoot. All right, that's regular fly. I have to pick one. So I get the others at 0, but I'm going to pick one to fly. And planes? No, you know what? I want airships. He learned how to fly dirigibles and balloons and stuff as a dilettante. So we're going to put a 1 there, which means he gets a 0 in all the other ones. So he has basic knowledge, because once he learns how to fly one, he can kind of know the basics of aviation, of flight, that is. All right, once you do that, you have to make a survival roll. Survival for my dilettante is a social 5+. Boom. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? He rolled a 2 + 1 is only a 3. That's less than the 5. So something has happened. There has been a mishap during his nobility thing here. So we're going to roll on a mishap chart. Now, every career, agent, Marines, Army, Navy, Scholars, all of them, including Noble, has a mishap chart. That's a 1d6. They're different. So he rolls. He rolls a 5. Oh, no. Oh, this is going to be fun. So 5 on the Noble chart is an assassin attempts to end your life. The result of that is that he's going to have to make an endurance 8 check. Ooh, luckily. Okay, assassin. Oops. It is an endurance check. 6 or higher. Luckily, I have a +2 because he's got a really high endurance. Please, this is... Ooh! No! I missed it by 1. He rolled a 5 + 2 is a 7. So that's a failure according to the chart on the mishap table. And you know what I can do real quick. I think it will show. Hold on. There. So just so you see the PDF. So there's the mishap table. An assassin attempts to end your life. Roll endurance 8+. If you fail, roll on the injury table. So, all right. Oh my goodness. All right. So we go to an injury table. The injury table is a D6. Oh no, is it? Yes, injury table is a D6. And we're going to see what kind of injury. Lower is bad, of course. Just about everything in this game is. 3, middle of the road. Ow! Ow! All right. Injury was 3, which is a missing eye or limb. Which would reduce strength or dexterity by 2. Now, we're going to choose to say he lost an arm. So I'm going to make it strength -2, but we're going to roll for medical care. So normally I would come over here and I would reduce his stat down by 2. But he's going to take medical care. This is the future. There are great hospitals. He's also a rich kid's son. So they're either going to vat grow a new arm, if the technology is high enough, or they give him a cybernetic arm. Okay? So he won't. So what that means is you don't lose that stat. But what happens is that you incur a debt for each restored lost characteristic point. It's a $5,000 debt. So medical care costs 10,000 credits. And then depending on what career you're in, that career itself may pay for some of this. There is a chart. Again, here, let's show it off. Boop. Right here, medical bills. So if you're in the Army, Navy, or Marines, you're going to roll 2d6 and add your current rank. And look at obviously if you roll 8 or higher, then the Army, Navy, or Marines pays 100% of your medical bills. Otherwise, they pay 75%. An agent, noble, scholar, entertainer, merchant, or citizen has a 50, 75, and 100. If it's a scout, rogue, or drifter, 0, 50, or 75. So in this case, my character is a noble who is rank 1. I've been promoted 1, so I will get a +1. And so I'm going to roll a die, and if I roll less than a 4, nobody pays anything. 4 or higher, I get 50%. 8 or higher, 75%. 12 or higher, I get 100% of my medical bill paid for. So we're going to roll 2d6 plus 1 because he's rank 1 from that first promotion. And I rolled a 7. Not quite high enough for 75%. But I have 50% of my medical bills paid for, which now reduces my credit that I owe for my new cyber arm. And I decided cyber instead of VAT-grown. He's rich, but he wants a reminder of this assassination attempt. Every time he looks at his arm, he'll know and be reminded that somebody tried to take his life. But this is the fun part. If you fail a survival roll unless otherwise indicated on the mishap chart, you are forced out of that career. So he is forced out of being a dilettante. And that could also be, I mean, you can look at it thematically however you want. And during character creation, you're encouraged to think and talk with the other players of the game master. For example, in this one, I'm thinking that this is a wake-up call to him that he got involved in the previous term. He got involved in deeply involved in some politics, and then now somebody's tried to take his life, and it could be because of that. But it's a wake-up call that, you know what, being a useless member of society, he needs to do something. So that's how I'm gonna play that in this character's mind. So he's actually gonna become an NPC in my upcoming campaign. All right. So now that we've done that, he's forced to muster out. Mustered out. So what I do here is I put a note that he's had, it's the number of terms, but you don't count the term that you have the mishap in. So he's got 1 term and then rank 1 for a total of 2 rolls. And then, so what I do is I put a note here. Here's 1, here's roll 2. So when you muster out, there is going to be a chart. It's down here at the bottom of this here on the page. And so you have cash and you have benefits. You get to choose to roll on whichever one. Keep in mind, you can only roll on a cash table 3 times in your entire life. You make 3 rolls. And once you've made 3 rolls, it could be in 3 different careers, but you're done. You can no longer roll for cash. You have to roll for benefits. As tempting as rolling for a benefit is, because I do get a +1 to my rolls because he is rank 1 does not get a +1 to your rolls on the benefits table. That's I think rank 5 or higher gets you rank 5 or higher will give you a bonus of +1 on the chart. As tempting it is to try to roll a 6 and get a yacht or 2 ship shares or something like that, the nobility cash table, I think, is far better than all of the other ones. So, because there's a chance I can get $100,000. We're going to do that. I'm going to do both rolls. He's just taking cash. He is saved, so I'm just going to roll twice. A 2 and a 6. Yeah, I'll take it. 2 is 10,000 credits, which is going to pay me his medical bills, by the way. And then the 6. That's what I was wanting. Man, if I had a +1, that would have been 200,000. But that's 100,000 credits is what he gained. All right, so I'm going to go to finances here just so I don't forget. And his cash on hand is 110. His current debt is 5,000 for medical bills. And actually, sorry, I can wipe that 0 and just, I think I had an extra 0 in there, sorry, and make that 105,000 on hand. So he paid for his cybernetic arm to get his medical debt taken care of and is mustered out of, actually, let me save some space. So And then so he's mustered out of the nobility at age 26. He decides to leave. He leaves after the assassination. He doesn't have a choice, but thematically for my character's background. So I don't have to roll for aging. We're going to go into the third term. He could start the game here as well. I got to make a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I am back. Okay. Yeah, so, and I won't edit this out, that's how I am. But, so, I could start my career now, start the game with this character. But he's not. He's going to choose something else. I got to choose something now. What is a near assassination attempt cause a person to do? God. My first reaction is there was an assassination attempt on his life. Cost him his arm. Does he go into intelligence or law enforcement to try to get justice? Does he join the military to disappear? Ooh, he could go into citizenry and become a colonist somewhere, trying to build a new life on a recently settled world. Or become a rogue and I don't know. I don't think rogue fits this character. He could go into the scout life, become a scout. I just feel like he's gonna run. Not necessarily scared running, but he's like, there's been an attempt on his life. He is out of here. He's got 100,000 credits. He's just... yeah. So it's either becoming a merchant, maybe on a free trader. Oh, you know what I just noticed? Down here under career progression, I did not change those. Sorry. Stand by real quick. I'm going to make a real quick change. Now, oh, the only other thing I do want to check real quick is make sure that these stayed, that those are correct. Merchant, Education 5, Dex 6, Education 5, Advancement is all Intellect 7, 6, and 7. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure that that wasn't the only thing I didn't like copy and paste when I did it, created it. Okay, so we're good. All right. So he could go into becoming a free trader, part of a crew that's on a tramp freighter just disappearing around, and that will keep him very mobile, kind of hard to kill you if you're moving around a lot. He could go into a merchant marine one that'll work for a massive cargo hauler of a mega corporation. I think you could blend in the masses of ships, but I feel like then that would be in databases and stuff. The free trader just seems... His Dex, though. Education is a minus to survive each turn, but Dex would be in the free trader, and then intellect to promote. Because strength and endurance wouldn't be too bad for maybe colonists. No, intellect and endurance for survival. Intellect is a +1, so he could go to a colony and disappear. We'll try that. I think it will go lean toward he has an assassination attempt, and then he says, I gotta disappear. This is no, I don't want to get killed. And he disappears, and he goes to signs up for a colony somewhere. And then if something bad happens here, then he'll go more drifter, or maybe try the free trader, tramp freighter deal. All right, so this is what we're doing. So citizen, and you never know, he might not actually get in to become a citizen. All right, so qualification to become a citizen, to get into one of the citizens' careers, a corporate worker or colonist, is an education 5 plus -1 for every previous career. He does have a previous career as a noble, so he will have a -1, so it is his education. Oh my God. I just realized that it's education. Oh, this is where education bites him. Maybe I don't do this, because that's going to be a -3 to getting in. So I would have to roll a 9 or higher to become a colonist. But if I go into merchants, it's intellect. Because if I failed the entry into this, I have to draft him. He's not really going to want to be... I don't picture this guy being draftable or wanting to be drafted. So we're going to go merchant. He's the option that's a little bit better. He's going to try to become a merchant. No, you know what? We're going to stick with it. Sorry, I'm wishy-washy. I'm feeling this character now. He's going to do the citizen because he doesn't know any better. He's spent his whole life as a noble. He doesn't know that it's easier to become a merchant than a colonist. He's just going to... I picture him just... Oh, man. Gets out of the hospital with his arm and says, packs what he can carry in a backpack and says, I'm out of here, and sees some sign, like in Blade Runner, the blimp that goes by and it's got a sign going, off-world colony, earn a new life on Mars, or whatever, Beta Triangulus 5. And he goes, that's for me. So he's going to try it. I mean, I got a horrible chance. But yeah, I get an extra -1 for every previous career. He's going to have a -2 for his low education stat. And, oh my goodness. All right. I rolled an 11. So 11 -3 gets him an 8. That is a qualification. He becomes a colonist. And then we're choosing colonists. And it does say right here, use your assignment skill table for basic training, not service skill. So, but however, this isn't his very first career, so he just has to choose one skill off the colonist table to be at a skill 0, which sucks because Jack of all trades is on that chart, and you already start the game with a 0, so it doesn't help him to do that. He will take, however, recon, because his head's on a swivel. He's trying to not die. All right, so we're going to get recon 0. Boom. All right. Oop. Sorry, there's a 3 there. Recon, 0. So he gets recon as he learns to put his head on a swivel as a colonist. And now he's going to have to make a survival roll. All right, survival for colonist is intellect 7 or higher. He has a +1. Let's go in here. Bam. No, are you kidding me? Oh, that roll to get in. All right, there's a mishap roll. So we go to the colonist chart. Or the citizen chart, technically. And roll a d6 on the mishap table. 2. That doesn't seem good. What? Oh my goodness. All right. So 2 on the citizen table as a mishap is harassed. You are harassed and your life ruined by a criminal gang. Gain the gang as an enemy. Mustered out. 1 career as a citizen, which is negated by the mishap. Rank 0, no bonuses. He just gets forced out of being a colonist. He is now going to be age 30. Oh my God. So, Raleigh Maddox had an assassination attempt on his life that cost him his arm. He then gets out of the hospital, goes and signs up to get on a colony, goes to the colony, and while on the colony, there is a criminal gang that just harasses him because they found out he's an ex-noble, something like that, and they just force him off the colony. I could then start my career now. But I'm not. Let's go ahead and do something else. Let's do the merchant thing he was going to try to do earlier. This is going to be really lovely. So now he says, you know what, colony life, I need to be mobile. I'm going to try to he's going to try to become a free trader, just get hired on a tramp freighter. He has no skills. So that's the interesting part. All right. So merchant. Our qualification is an intellect 4 or higher, -1 for every previous career. He has 2 previous careers. So we're going to go intellect. And we're going to go -2. 1 for noble, 1 for citizen. And he rolls. He gets a 7 total. Why 7? Oh, because I have an intellect +1. So it was just a net -1. So he qualifies. And then we're going to go free trader. So he gets hired onto a free trader. And so again, going to get the basic skills of a free trader. In this case, it's going to be the service skills right here. So drive, vac-suit, broker, steward, electronics, or persuade. I already have persuade, and I think I already have electronics. You could learn steward. Steward is, how to take care of the passengers. Now he wants to stay stay hidden. He's trying to lay low, so we're going to go vac-suit. Vac-suit. All right. Once that's done, now we have to make a survival roll. Survival for a free trader is Dex 6. No modifier. This guy has no skills to do anything. Might be time to make his character after this. We'll be done and just start the game, maybe. Oh, man. Merchant mishap D6. Amazing. All right, 6 is for the merchant is a series of bad deals and decisions force you into bankruptcy. You salvage what you can. You may take a benefit roll for this term as well as any others you are entitled to. That's the exception I was talking to. So, series of bad deals bankrupts the ship. That's what I'm going to go with. So, mustered out. Term gets me 1. Rank was 0, so that's it. One roll on the career table. So I could roll to get the money, which, look, if you look at the money, it's not a whole lot, or one actual benefit. I'm going to go for the benefit because an actual 6 is a free trader. So, like, the ship goes bankrupt, but the captain goes, fine, you want the bankrupted company? You can have the ship. So, but it's only a 5, so it's only a ship share. So he owns a share in the ship, in a ship somewhere, so. But now, age 34, which now means he's got to make aging rolls. Aging roll is 2d6 minus the current term, so it's 4, and you started on term 4 at 34. So it's 2d6 minus 4, next term will be 2d6 minus 5. Ooh, close call. Any positive number is you're okay. A 0 is a stat hit. Minus 1 is 2 stat hits. Minus 2 is 3 stat hits. Minus 4 is 1 stat at 2, 2 stats at 1. It just gets progressively worse. At minus 5 or 6, your aging is kicking your keister. All right, so now we have to choose. He would is he done? And he starts the game as 34-year-old former noble, former colonist, former merchant marine. Or does he try something else? I got pretty high stats other than that education. What's the scout like? Intellect 5. Ooh, endurance. Endurance. I like the endurance. Why not? Let's just do it because we're making a scout services. So he tries to qualify to go into the... It keeps him on. It'll keep him mobile. Keep him on the out and about. Okay, intellect 5. However, I've had 1, 2, 3 careers. Minus 3 to getting in. Needs an intellect 5. Minus 3. Rolls an 8. Alrighty then. He qualifies, and then he's going to go explorer. No better way to disappear than become an explorer. So basic skills, service skills. Ooh, look at that right there. Pilot small craft. I like that one. I should just put pilot because it doesn't matter if it's small craft or spacecraft. As a basic skill. If you rolled this, it'd be a 1-point advantage in it. But since it's his very first, he's just going to get pilot in all of them. So he learns how to pilot capital ships, small craft, and spacecraft. Yep, all 3. All right. So he gained pilot as a basic training skill. Now it's the survival roll. He's got to survive. Endurance 7. I got a +2 though. At least it's much better than my previous chances. Oh. Okay. This character might need to stop after this. That's a 5. His endurance was his survival check needed to be a 7. He fails, so he has a mishap. As a scout. D6 roll on the scout mishap table. 6, he just straight up injured. So we're going to roll on the injury table, which is again is a D6. A 4, I don't remember what that is. Let's go pull the chart up. 4 is scarred. He has been scarred and injured. Reduce any physical characteristic by 2. So again, we could choose any physical characteristic. Scarred and injured. However, we're going to do medical. So again, medical is going to pay for... It's a 2-point reduction. So we're going to get another 10,000 credits. We're going to see if the Scout Services pays for that. Scouts and Rogues, ooh. He's ranked 0, so he doesn't get a bonus to us. He's going to roll straight 2d6. The higher, the better. A 7. Nothing. They don't pay anything. So he has a $10,000 medical bill, but we can obviously, look at that. If we look up here, 10 grand, boom. So he'll have 95,000 starting cash because he can pay his medical bill right away. So he gets a $10,000 medical bill to keep those points. And then we did a mishap. So he has to muster out. Dang it. Doesn't get anything for the term, doesn't get anything for the rank. So he's just out at the age of 38. He has to make an aging roll, which now is a 2d6 minus 5. Ooh, 6. Wow. Aging has not affected him at all. You know what? Let's do a 6th term. Why not? It's character creation. I don't know what I mean, like hour in or something. I just find this very, very entertaining. So 6th term, he's gonna have a -1, 2, 3. He's gonna have a -4 to get into something at this point. So, God, but what could he go into? He's been a scout, noble. Oh, he could just become a straight up drifter. Be a wanderer. Yeah. Maybe it is time to call it quits. He's failed every career ever. No, you know what? Video's at an hour. That's good enough. So at this point, I could do another career, but he would have to make an entry roll with a -4. If he fails, he's going to become a drifter or whatever. And then aging is absolutely going to start, because the next roll is going to be 2d6 minus 6. Much higher chance that something's going to affect him. He's got some amazing stats to go in, but he just doesn't have a lot of skills. That's the problem. I never got him any bunch of skill rolls because he kept mustering out. So he's got a lot of nothingness going on with this particular character. So now, you know what? Let's just go straight into Drifter. We'll just do one term in Drifter. You'll go straight into Drifter. Qualification's automatic. He's going to choose to be a wanderer, which gets him user assignment skill. So he go wanderer. I can get one right off of here. Drive, deception, recon, stealth, streetwise, or survival. We're going to do streetwise. Maybe that's why he hasn't been seriously useful. He's never been streetwise. Yeah, streetwise 0. All right, so that's his basic with streetwise 0. I should have done that up top there somewhere, but that's okay. Streetwise 0. Now his survival role as a wanderer. Great. Here it comes. Survival as a wanderer is endurance 4. Hey, all right, he makes it. Endurance 4. He rolled a 6. He actually survives. Oh my god. We have an event roll for Wanderer, which is on the Drifter table. All right, took me a second to get to the Drifter table. Event roll, what was it? An 8. You are attacked by enemies. Gain an enemy if you do not have one already, and roll either melee 6 or higher, gun combat 8 or higher, or stealth 8 or higher to avoid a roll on the injury table. This is that gang. The gang found him. The gang on the colony has found him as a drifter. Maybe he drifted onto where the gang's turf and forgot about this planet. So, has to make melee, gun, or stealth. I don't think I have any of those. Not a 1. It's an untrained check, whatever it is. I need an 8 or higher for all of them. So -3. Oh my goodness. He gets jacked. Maybe I should have started my game. I got to roll on the injury table. Six. Lightly injured, no permanent effect. Woo! (2d6 -6 for aging. By the skin of my teeth, a 2. All right, that's it. Now he's done. He's drifted. He starts the game. However, he starts the game. I mean, he's going to start the game with 95,000 credits. I think you can only spend 10 or 20 of it. At the very beginning, you have to role play out any other purchases. But there you go. That's character creation in an hour. So basically one character in an hour. And that's assuming that you go as long as he did with these careers. So in summary, our guy is now 42 years old. Raleigh Maddox was a noble that tried to get into the university, but then failed and became a dilettante for 8 years. Then there was an assassination attempt on his life after becoming deeply involved in some politics. So he disappeared onto a colony, but was harassed by a criminal gang and forced off the colony. So he became a merchant on a free trader that went broke. And then he... oops, sorry, just making a note here. And then he became a drifter. Oh, no, he went into the scout services, and that didn't work out. He got scarred and injured during a mishap in the scout services and mustered out. And then when it became a drifter and ran into the old gang that tried to just beat him up, and he said now he's just living his life now. So that's it. And normally, if this was a player, I would hit the save, because you can actually save the rolls so you have them as a record. Did I roll that? Did I make a check for that? You can go, let's check the logs. But there he is. Raleigh Maddox. Oh, I need to change that, don't I? I think it's just right on the sheet. No, that's not it. So where does this... Oh, prototype token. There it is. Boop. We'll go by Maddox. Yeah, there we go. I can add Maddox to the never sales. There, token updated. All right. Thanks for watching. And if you have any questions or want to see something else Foundry-based with or without this module, Traveler, or have questions about character creation, all that good stuff, feel free to let me know. And thanks for joining me. See you around the Game Tube.